Welcome to Hats, Chats and Giggles podcast. I'm your host Mark and I'm here to guide you through our very first episode of Hats, Chats and Giggles, where we will dive into the heart and soul of Hattersley, Mottram, Longdale and beyond. Join us to listen to the stories, voices and secrets that make our community so special. Together we will dive into the stories of the people who call Hattersley their home, from the wisdom of our older generation to the young voices of our future. We will cover a variety of topics, giving everyone the chance to voice their opinions on the things that matter most to them. So if it's dog dirt in the back alley, dodgy Christmas trees, or even inappropriate graffiti, we want to hear it, warts and all. So whether you're a lifelong Hattersley resident or new to the area, we invite you to join us on this journey through the heart of our beloved community. We'll explore the vibrant tapestry of Mottram, Longdale and Hattersley, from its history to its ever-changing present and the bright future that lies ahead. But hey, if you're not from Hattersley, that's okay too. We'll hope you'll find inspiration in our stories and maybe discover a sense of community that extends beyond our own town's borders. And maybe, who knows, you might even move around here as well. Follow us on our socials to stay up to date with the latest episodes and behind the scenes content. So if you have a story to tell, if you've got views on any of our content or even a joke you want to share, then drop us a voice note on 07365 223 720. That's 07365 223 720. Turn on, tune in, and rip the knob off to Hats, Chats and Giggles podcast. Welcome to the very first episode of Hats, Chats and Giggles podcast. I'm your host Mark, and today we're going to be taking a trip down memory lane with two very, very special guests, Shirley and Janet. They moved to Hattersley area in Manchester in the 1960s as part of the city's ambitious Overspill housing plan. They're going to be telling us all about when they first moved up here back in the day. Hey Janet, hey Shirley.
Hi Mark.
Hi Mark.
Hiya, thanks for coming in today on our first ever Hats, Chats and Giggles podcast. What have you been up to this morning?
Been to the gym, a pair of us, haven't we? Getting fit.
Well, this is the first ever episode of Hats, Chats and Giggles, and today we're going to be talking about Hattersley in the beginning. So, when did you actually move up here?
In 1966, in the 60s. I was a bit later, I was probably 68.
About 1968.
Yeah.
What about you, Janet?
1966.
What part of Manchester were you living in when you first come?
I was West Gorton, just off Clue Street.
I was West Gorton too, but near Bellevue, near the Gorton Baths.
Can you remember what kind? So what age? Well, I'm not going to ask you that. But what were the?
6.
You were 6.
Yeah.
And how old?
I was about 10, 11.
What were the living conditions in Manchester then, in Gorton and West Gorton then?
Well, we had an outside toilet, the bath, the tin bath on the nail outside, and they used to bring it in on a Friday, and we all used to have to get in it. 2 sisters and me.
In front of the fire.
In front of the fire, yeah.
Coal fire.
Yeah, Mum used to do it before we got up in the morning, and they used to come down, and there was a shovel with a newspaper across to draw the fire. It was all damp in the ceiling, and me and my older sister that shared a bedroom used to look up at the ceiling and try and make like shapes and say what the shapes looked like and reminded us of, and it was damp coming through the ceiling.
So did you have a garden then or anything like that?
No.
Backyard. And we had the front just went from the living room straight out onto the street.
You're looking back, right? What were your first impressions when you arrived in Hattersley in the 60s? How did it compare to what you left behind? Can you recall?
It was
any memories?
unbelievable, the green, weren't it?
It was It was just massive. The house was massive, and we had 3 bedrooms, we had a bathroom, and it was just unbelievable. And the space outside, I mean, they hadn't even built the roads or the pavements. It was just the house, and everywhere there was mud everywhere. There was even a big farm gate at the end of the road. And on the first morning that we slept there, we opened the window upstairs, and there was sheep wandering round outside. I don't think I'd ever seen a sheep before.
It was so green and open, and all the trees and the hills. We couldn't believe it, because we'd never really seen much of that down there, had we?
Yeah, and the first winter, oh my God, there was snow right up to the door. We thought we were going to get snowed in, and helicopters would have to drop food to us.
How did you move up here?
We had a removal van with big, massive orange crates. Do you remember them? That used to keep oranges in? And everything wrapped in newspaper. But we didn't have carpets in that in West Gorton. You didn't have carpets. You had just a big rug in the middle of the room.
You had oilcloth.
Oilcloth with a big rug in it. So you just roll the rug up. Didn't you?
Yeah.
And your furniture. We had a furniture van. How did you move?
I think it was a furniture van.
Yeah.
What sort of amenities and facilities were here in them days?
There was a school. There was the school. So I went to Arundel School. But as far as the buses, we had to walk down here to Barnabas's because the terminus was here.
Yeah.
So you had to get off the bus here and walk to John Kennedy Road. And where the terminus is now, that's where we lived. And we had to walk from here to there and back. And the buses didn't run very often.
And there was a post office and a rent office.
It was like a little hut.
Facing Barnabas, a hut, yeah.
You know when you said you had to walk down John Kennedy, was there a path? Was it
Not
pavement?
at first. There was no roads at first. There was no roads, no pavement. It was just mud. There was mud everywhere.
You always wore your wellies, always.
Well, it's still like that now, isn't it?
Yeah, it's turned back into that.
Yeah.
Isn't it? The side of the roads everywhere.
Well, it's like the grass verges. We don't really need them now. People are just parking on the grass verges now.
Yeah.
But when we moved here, Mark, we didn't even have a car. So you think about it now, in a 3-bedroomed house, it's usually mum's got a car, dad's got a car, and if they've got grown-up kids, they've all got cars.
Nobody had cars, did they?
They didn't make any provisions for people to have one car or more than one car. So we haven't got any facilities to park cars, have we?
So there was one bus. What bus was it?
211. Or you could walk to Mottram Road and get the 125.
Oh, there was a 208 that was in rush hour.
Yeah, they used to put a 208 on in rush hour.
So then what about the train? Was it trains?
No. Broadbottom, that was it.
When was Hattersley train station built then?
Not even in our day.
I'd moved off when they built that.
Yeah, quite new to us.
Was there any shops?
No. There was the van.
There was a van that used to come round on a Friday night. There was one that came round with chips.
Bread van.
And there was a bread van. And then there was like a mobile shop that came round that sold everything.
Did we used to have to walk into Mottram?
There was an outdoor off-licence in Mottram Village.
And Beresford's, a grocer's.
And there was 2 butchers.
Yeah.
And a Flint's.
The
greengrocers.
Greengrocers, yeah, on the corner of Mottram Brown. We'd really walk, because we lived John Kennedy, we lived at the bus terminus, didn't we?
Where the bus terminus is now.
That's where we lived. So we used to walk up to Mottram, really, didn't we?
Yeah.
Was there a sense of community with your new neighbours? You know, like, because people came from different areas. You came from
West Gorton.
West Gorton and Gorton. But people who came from other areas of Manchester, how did that kind of...
The community was... What we did find is some of your neighbours had moved before you, and they lived at the beginning of the estate. They lived near the Ustage at the other end of the estate. Now, what is the Ariel Tavern, didn't they? I knew people, Cara Rathbone and all that lived at that end.
Yeah, but there was a lot of people that knew each other from Manchester anyway.
Communities.
And because we were all in the same boat, everybody helped each other. I can remember my mum going in to the next door but one neighbours and helping them and minding each other's kids. I mean, most of the mums didn't work.
And we had a lot of aunties and uncles and grands.
Because you never called anybody, by the first name or Mrs. Suchbody. Everybody was auntie.
But I did have 2 aunties up here and my 2 grands moved up here, didn't they?
My gran followed.
A lot of the family,
yeah, my gran came up later.
Here. Yeah, as well.
So what was it like as a child you're living in Gorton, you've got no back garden, you've got a toilet in the back, you've got a steel bath. What was it like when you come up here?
You could play. We played out down there in the back entries, or we went to Gorton Park, didn't we?
Yeah.
Or Debdale Park.
Right.
We had a walk to Debdale Park. But you come up here, you played out all day. My auntie moved up here 66, and I used to come with my cousins and stay in the 6-week holidays, and you were out just free all day. Walking to Broadbottom, going up Werneth Low, didn't you? Going in the other row.
Yeah, we used to go in the... Me and Shirley have got memories of when we jumped in with our clothes on into the river.
We'll be right back after this short break. Beryl, get the kettle on.
My name's Des Clare. I'm the operations manager for Tameside South and Longdendale Food Banks. We are a crisis food bank, so we help people with a short supply of food to last them about 3 days. We are a referral-based food bank, so we do ask people to be referred to us, but you can just turn up if it's your first or second time and we will help you out. We do have a drop box on Hattersley in Tesco Superstore, just near the tills. People can help us by donating food to there. Any donations would be welcomed. They can actually come up on a Friday, introduce themselves. If they would like to volunteer actually in the food bank, by all means come to us. We do have a email address, which is info@tamesidesouthlongdendale.foodbank.org.uk. They can email us their details and we can get in contact with them direct. We actually have a website, Facebook page as well, so if you look for Tameside South and Longdendale Food Bank on Facebook, you can contact us through that as well, yeah. If you're struggling, come and talk to us. We are here for everybody. We are referral based, but you can be referred from your local GP. If you've got kids at school, their schools can refer you, churches can refer you, Healthy Hide and medical services can refer you to us. So it's not as though we're hard to get a parcel from or get a voucher. There is a lot of organisations out, but anybody who is really, really struggling, please, 9 o'clock till 11 o'clock every Friday at St Barnabas of Hattersley Road East, pop in and see us. My name's Des, ask for me and we'll have a chat and see how we can help.
After school.
Oh, well, I don't know if you could still jump in it now. How do you think has this changed through the 60s and 70s? What major improvements or things can you recall from them times?
It's improved. It did improve when we had the community centre and the youth club and the boxing club. But the library, that was all...
So were these all things that kind of got built?
Yeah, in our time.
You moved in, the houses got built?
There were nothing. But they had all the pubs and the clubs up here then, didn't they?
Yeah, the Underwood Club.
Working Men, the Legion.
And I think what that did, it brought the younger ones integrating with the older ones. Because when I was a teenager, we used to go in the Underwood Club, and all those older ones, and I'm saying older ones now because they were probably the age that we are now, but we sat with them and we drank with them and we danced with them. And now a lot of them people are old and a lot of are not here, but a lot are infirm, or struggle walking, and we're still in contact with them people, and they do trips, with the hub, and we still see them people and we take them to town, and we go down for the wit walks still, and we're kind of looking after them old people. But I don't think we have got that relationship with the young ones today.
There's no sense of community anymore.
Because there's no community.
Like that used to be.
Right, it's a strange one, that, isn't it? Because that's happening kind of everywhere, not just in Hattersley.
Yeah,
it's happening
everywhere.
That people aren't mixing enough. What is it? Community cohesion.
But they've lost the places to do that.
Yeah. They have. I agree. Because a lot of the pubs that you're mentioning aren't here anymore.
I work when they opened the Flat Cap. I worked behind the bar there, so all the older ones were coming in. I was only 18, and they were all coming in. So you got to know them, and then you got to know their children. And I mean, I can walk around the estate, and if I see kids, I always say, "So who's your mum? Who's your gran?" Yeah. And you know that you know the parents or the grandparents, but I don't actually know the children anymore because you don't see them. And I was saying to one of the girls the other day, so who did you marry? How many children have you got? Because I think when we were teenagers and then everybody started, like Shirley did. Shirley married somebody from Staley Bridge. So she went to Staley Bridge. So I didn't see her for years and we lost touch. But now kids don't have to do that because all the business is on Facebook. So they see all the weddings, they see when they have a baby, they see the baby showers and the gender reveals and all that. So they kind of keep in touch with each other a different way. So I think that's a good thing. You know, they'll never have to lose touch with people like we did. But
they don't visit, people don't visit each other's houses like they used to.
Yeah, I mean,
that community's gone, that's gone.
It's just changed, hasn't it?
Yeah.
And I really get where you're coming from with the technology has really changed it, particularly social media. We've just found different ways of doing them same things, really,
linking up
through technology. Which reminds me, we're going to do a show on technology and the digital divide in the future. So I may get back to you and we can have this conversation a bit more about that. So, getting back to the exodus up to Hattersley and the original Cumarinners, what do you think made your family decide to take part in the housing programme and moving up here?
I don't think they had a choice, really. They offered us a place in Horton Green before Hattersley. And when we went, it was a flat, a 2-bedroom flat, which wasn't adequate for 3 kids. We lost my dad. My dad died when I was 6. So just before we left Gorton, my dad at 36 died of a heart attack. So it was just mum and the 3 girls. And it was a big upheaval that we'd lost my dad, moving house, moving school. So we came up here and it was like a fresh start. But I don't think mum got a choice. It was, the houses were going to be demolished in Gorton and we'd already refused the one in Horton Green. So I don't think she could refuse another one.
Right, yeah, I was reading in the book, Starting a New Life in Hattersley. I read a story in there that so the council bought their own house. The council took that off them.
Like compulsory purchase.
Compulsory purchase. And when they got up here, the rent was more than what the mortgage was. Mm-hmm. And houses were really cheap to buy in them days, really, weren't they?
Yeah. So Mum and Dad bought theirs in West Gorton for £375. And when they left, 10 years later, they got £14 for it. That was the compulsory purchase order. Right. The council gave them £14.
Well, my mum didn't buy hers, so it was council. Right. So we were just moved up here and carried on renting from the council.
So it was still part of Manchester City Council when
it was.
When it originally used to.
It was.
And then it was in 1974 when it got handed over.
People were forced to come up here. They probably didn't want to, like you said. We did because this particular place, because my 2 grands lived up here and my 2 aunties. So the family was up here.
We didn't really know anybody when we came up at that end, but I had my dad's sister was up here and her daughter. So they were one of the first up, like Camborne Road area.
So I suppose it was a fresh start, really, making new friends.
I just started secondary school and I carried on 2 buses, still going just past Ebdale Park to my school down there. Because I didn't know anybody. I had no friends up here. So I carried on. But then I made friends with Janet and Paula and people like that who lived around me, Jean, Diane. So I left after 2 years of commuting on my own for 2 years, I thought. And then I came to the school up here, I came up to the camp.
Yeah, my sister did that. My older sister, she carried on going to Ryder Brow School because Mum didn't want to move her if she could help it. So she carried on commuting down to Ryder Brow. But I went to Arundel. And the majority of people that I knew in my class from Arundel School at the age of 6, a lot of them still live up here or still live in the area, and I still see them.
So was Arundel built for the estate, was it?
Yeah.
But this school wasn't at first, was it? The secondary school wasn't built.
No, there was no secondary school. They all went to Longlands. So there wasn't a secondary school on the estate. There was primary school. So there was Pimfold, Hare Hill, what's the other one?
Oldenclough.
Hurstclough, Arundale. So all them were built, purpose-built for the children, the younger children. But secondary school, they didn't build the Hattersley Comp till later.
Right. And there were big classes, there were lots of kids, weren't there?
Yeah, so some went to Longlands and others, like Shirley, were commuting back down to Manchester, and my sister.
You know, them first days and weeks, what was it like just into your new home and the community? Did you still not want to go?
No, I loved it. Kids, our parents did. My mum missed it and my dad did. But they still worked down there. But we loved it as kids. I didn't miss any of it down there, did you?
No, I missed my gran, but we went every weekend. We got the 211 and did the hour journey back down to Gorton to see gran. But it was only a couple of years later, and then she moved up.
For those that were from the Manchester area, do you think there was like a shared identity for them early residents? Did that form?
Yeah, especially with our parents, because like I say, a lot of them knew each other anyway, and they all like looked after each other and, you know, supported each other.
They're all in it together, weren't they, really? They're all...
Yeah, and I suppose because you always know people from other areas, don't you? So, oh, you're such a body. Do you know such a body from that area? You know, from such a body from Moss Side. I'm like, oh yeah.
Well, if you didn't know them, you knew somebody that they knew.
Because it was, even though it was a tight knit community in Manchester anyway, with them, like, people know each other from different areas.
And they all used to help each other with gardens and things, didn't they? Oh, do you need an hand with that? And
well, a lot of the women didn't work. They were stay-at-home mums, so they got together because I suppose, you know, taking the kids to school and then being at home, they popped in and out of each other's houses for cups of tea and stuff. And nowadays, both parents are working, so some people don't even know the next door neighbours.
And that's all over, isn't it?
They know more about them on social media than you.
Like Janet just said, it's social media.
So you were coming in as, what about the existing people who lived around here? How was that?
There wasn't, because
Mottram people.
Oh, well,
Mottram and, you know, because you've moved into this area, there's an estate built.
Yeah.
Everyone's come from
They
Manchester.
hated us. Everybody hated us. It was called Debtors Retreat.
No, but
people in Mottram blamed us for the traffic and the
stealing milk off the doorsteps.
Everything. We got blamed for. The people from Hyde didn't want the Hattersley people shopping there. They weren't very accommodating.
So did the people of like Hyde and Mottram not want?
No, the kids. They hated the kids.
Wanting the daughters to be coming home with a guy from Hattersley.
From Hattersley, You couldn't really tell people that you were from Hattersley, could you, when you applied for a job?
Well,
Our address was Mottram in Longdon.
If you lived on the other side of Stockport Road, your address was Mottram. On this side, you was Hyde. So nobody said you were from Hattersley. If you could help it, you'd say you were either from Mottram or you were from Hyde. Because as soon as you mentioned Hattersley, you know, you weren't getting the job. And if you said that you went to Hattersley Comp, you weren't getting the job. So when I had my children, I sent them to Longdendale purely because I didn't want them going through what I'd gone through to try and get a job.
Right, so you felt like discrimination.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, God, yeah.
And a lot of it was caused by the Moors murderers.
Right.
Oh, yeah. Everybody always, if you say you're from Hattersley, they always bring up, is that where the Moors murders were? Or Shipman. I mean, Shipman.
It was later.
It was later, but it wasn't even from Hattersley. But everybody will say all the bad things about Hattersley.
They'll only remember the bad things, don't they? And I suppose all the media speculation. I was reading something about because of the Moors murderers that there was rumours in school, you know, like teenage in schools, that if you were from Hattersley, you was a murderer.
You're bad. Really bad people. Yeah.
And from what I see, I think it.
My mother was absolutely spotless in all her cleaning and her garden, and everything was beautiful. And people from Hyde or Mottram used to say, oh, you're just all scruffy up there and keep your coal in the bath. You don't have baths, you keep your coal in the bath. Because at the beginning of this estate, they had coal fires didn't they? Underwood Road, that end. And they used to say, oh, yeah, you've all got coal. Yeah, keep your coal in the bath. And my mum used to be up in arms because you were always bleaching and cleaning. And
I feel very protective about Hattersley. And, I mean, when I was a teenager and you said you were from Mottram, now I'm the complete opposite.
Yeah.
Now I'm proud to say I'm from Hattersley, and I'll say I'm from Hattersley more than anything.
So one thing, right, so looking back over the years, do you feel that all these people moving in from different areas, you've just said it yourself, you're quite proud to be...
Very proud now.
And I see that when I go... What I really like is when I go and meet young people, they've got a Manc accent.
Yeah.
It's not perfectly Mancunian.
No, I can tell the difference.
But
I can tell the difference between your accent and ours.
Yeah. Is there any memories that you can remember? Any funny stories or anything like that you can remember from when you first moved here?
Really, really good memories. Loved it.
Is there anything funny that sticks out? What about school? Did you ever get excluded from school? Or?
They didn't really do exclusion then.
No.
I remember me and Shirley and some other girls wagging it in somebody's house. He was looking through, the wagman was looking through the window, and we were all lying on the floor giggling. We didn't think that we'd left the back door open, and he went round the back and come walking in, and then frog marched us all the way back to school.
That's funny, that, isn't it? The wagman. They don't have wagmen, do they?
Come to your house.
I don't think they do they? Just exclude you, don't they?
Yeah.
And we had knit nurses as well. I don't think they have them now either. But everybody knew when somebody had knits because it used to line up, and then the nurse would look in your hair, and anybody that had knits, she used to nod to the teacher, so the teacher had to write down to get a letter sent home that they had knits. But everybody knew because that's what they did. They nodded at the teacher.
I think my memories are really, really good school days. Secondary school, really good days. Because we were never there.
I don't remember learning anything.
We didn't learn anything. We just learned how to be streetwise, how to jib off school. We just went in the morning, got your mark, and you were off.
So that's the thing, because you all moved, everyone who moved into Hattersley was from, inner city areas, essentially, wasn't it? Gorton and Moss Side and Moston and all them areas. Was you a little bit more streetwise in Hattersley?
Yeah.
We didn't mix really with the surrounding areas. If you were from Hattersley, people didn't come on here and mix with you. We used to go to Hyde Town Hall on a Thursday night for the disco, and a lot of the time the people that lived in Hyde and Newton didn't want the Hattersley people there. And I remember being on the bus and they were throwing bricks through the window on the bus.
Why? Because you were from Hattersley?
Yeah. There were lots of fighting, teenage years, weren't there?
Staley Bridge.
Yeah, gangs fighting.
So
Hollingworth.
Who did you used to fight against then?
Hyde mainly, weren't it?
Hyde mainly because that's where we went. And they didn't want the Hattersley people going to Hyde Town Hall.
How did that make you feel?
It made us band together more, didn't it? We all stuck together.
Yeah.
Right, so it probably brought you together as well, didn't it? Because them things do kind of...
Because we used to all go out as a gang, didn't we? We all...
Shirley ended up marrying somebody from Staley Bridge.
Yeah.
So going down there to Staley Bridge when she was dating, I remember, it was a bit of a taboo that she was with somebody from Staley Bridge.
And I went to Copley Youth Club and got battered. A load of girls battered me. Yeah, because you were different. You were different from not out in the area.
So what did you go do and get your gang?
We did.
Down?
We all were a big gang from school.
Get your gang time.
We all went down and then we got chased. Lads were swinging chains, I remember, running up Mottram Road, running back to Hattersley.
That carried on right through into the 90s because my son, that happened when he was a teenager as well with Staley Bridge.
Yeah, territorial, isn't it?
Yeah, I think humans are like that, aren't they, really? Do you know what I mean? We can only look at the state of the world today to see that.
I suppose it goes back to the Scottish with the clans and tribes and things.
And don't forget we were dead different. We had different accents, didn't we? We were like dead Manchester, and we used to laugh at their accents. They used to laugh at ours. Very different.
So you got your gang and you went down there.
Oh, yeah.
So did it all get sorted out in the end? Well, it must have, because
Yeah. now as adults, we're quite friendly with people from Hyde, aren't we? It's not like that anymore. Do you think?
Well, it isn't for us because we're adults, but maybe it is for the kids.
Yeah, well, there's always that territorial thing, and I mean, we'd have to get a young person to speak for themselves, but there's always a bit of territorial stuff. Do you think there's a strong sense of pride in Hattersley?
Oh yeah, yeah. People are proud to be from here, aren't they?
We'll be right back after this short break. Beryl, get the kettle on.
Do you or someone that you know find technology confusing? Are you finding it frustrating that everyone asks you to go online, but you don't know how? Well, PC Refurb, a local charity, are offering lots of free digital skills training at various places around Tameside. Or perhaps you are comfortable with tech and would like to give back to the community. We're currently recruiting people to be trained as digital champions, to train people in our groups. Another aspect of PC Refurb is refurbishing technology from companies that have computers or phones that for them are at end of life. But for PC Refurb, we are able to take those pieces of IT kit, reset them, and pass them on to individuals or organisations who need them. So using their skills in training and refurbishment, PC Refurb help to bridge the digital divide.
For more information, email admin@pcrefurb.org.uk. So when you're rocking it up round Staley Vegas, do you like, I'm Shirley,
Yeah, from Hattersley, yeah, oh yeah.
Yeah, so you've never lost
no messing, no.
wherever you are?
Yeah, I'm not really scared of anybody because of living up here, because you had to hold your own, Janet, didn't you? There was a lot of bullying and a lot of fighting going on at school. You had to act hard, didn't you? You couldn't act soft. If you act soft, you just got picked on, bullied.
So you used to walk into school like you had something in your shoe?
Oh, you had to, didn't you? Yeah, you had to stick up for yourself and give it verbally as well. Give it people back, even though you were scared inside. You had to give it back verbally, didn't you?
It still goes on today, doesn't it?
Still happens.
And you forget about them things as you get older and you mature, and sometimes you think, oh, I wasn't like that. But
yeah,
when you're young, you do a lot of things, don't you?
Yeah.
I suppose that does go on today. It'd be interesting to ask some younger people. So if there's anyone young who wants to come onto the Hats Chats and tell us what their thoughts are about this, just leave us a voice note on 07365 223 720. Anyway, we've got someone very special lined up, haven't we, Shirley?
See the time. Give her another few minutes.
Right, we're gonna phone Shirley's Auntie Liz.
She was originally from my side, and she moved up here in 1966, so just a while before me. And we used to come up visiting, and we thought it were great. I used to stay up here in the 6-week holidays with her, and me and my cousins, our Tony and Mark, my brother Graham. We just used to be out, like you said. Were you always on all day? That's what you did.
Yeah, we moved up in 66 as well, and I'm the middle one of 3 girls. We moved up here.
So have all your sisters stayed here, or?
My younger sister stayed up here till about 15 years ago, I think, now maybe longer. She lives in Salford. Right. But my older sister moved off, and then she's moved back on. In fact, she now lives in Shirley's old house.
My house, yeah. Yeah. Mm. It's funny to see.
She's bought it. Yeah, she bought it.
Right, that's mad. So where did you used to live, Sheila?
John Kennedy Gardens at the very top at the bus terminus.
Oh, right, yeah.
So we had a little gang there, didn't we? There was a lot of our age.
You had a what? A gang?
A gang, about
a gang of girls all the same age.
We lived just in that area there, didn't we?
What was your car? Did you have a gang name?
No. We just meant a gang as in group of girls, not...
Yeah, used to be
gang walk.
So if any Staley Bridges were walking down the street, like, hey, what are you doing down here?
Oh, God.
You wouldn't see Staley Bridges walking. They wouldn't walk on Hattersley.
No.
Nobody would come on. Even when you invited somebody... I had some friends from Levenshulme, and they'd even heard about Hattersley. And you'd say to them, oh, come up and we'll go to the youth club. Oh, no, I'm not coming up there.
Why do you think that is?
It's a very close community in them days.
Do you think Hattersley's rough?
No, not at all.
Not even then, really. But other outsiders do.
Do you think other people think that?
Yeah, definitely.
I do, yeah.
And why do you think that is?
Because they don't know it.
Do you think it's part of the legacy that everyone moved up here from the inner city areas and it was like, oh, Hattersley, that's all them lot that have come from Manchester?
Yeah, and they
And
must
do you
have
think
been scary to other people, yeah.
And I know there's the other things like, you know, the Moors murderers and Shipman and stuff and the Cregan thing that has added to that, but I don't think he's no rougher than
The best of it is, though, Shipman was from Hyde, not Hattersley.
Yeah.
And neither was Cregan from Hattersley. It's just that everybody got tarred with the same brush. I moved to Mottram when I was, when my son was 16, because it was getting rough up here. Things
A lot
were
of
happening.
guns and drugs.
And I didn't want him getting involved in it, so we moved to Mottram. We didn't move far, but just down to Mottram. And the day that I moved in, the next door neighbour came out and he said to me, "Oh, welcome to this area." So I said, "Oh, what's it like then?" So he said, "Oh, yeah, it's lovely round here." He said, "But let me tell you, there's a council estate just down there. They don't work, everybody's on drugs, they steal, all the kids have got the latest football shirts." He said, and, you know, they're all drug dealing. And he's saying that to me, and I went, "Can I just stop you right there?" I said, because I'm from Hattersley as well. I said, there's a lot of people on there that work very hard, a lot of lovely people, and they probably buy the new football shirts for the kids because they're trying to give the kids what they never had. I said, so there's a lot of nice people up there, so don't judge them. Oh, they've all got, and he said, they've all got big cars that they steal because they're all drug dealers.
You get a lot of that, don't you? It's like something you might read in the Daily Mail or something like that, and when people generalise about...
And judge.
Generalising and judge about people, and we live in a bit of a polarised society, don't we? I do get this vision in my mind of, like, when the estate was getting built up, there was these people in Mottram and Broadbottom and saying, "Oh, I don't want them here.
They did.
We don't want all them coming from the slums," because that's what they called them terraced houses. That if they were still built there now, they'd be selling for about £180,000, wouldn't they?
They would. So close to town.
Yeah. The reason why I asked is Hattersley rough is if you go on Google now and write "is Hattersley," the first thing that will come up is rough. The reason being, I think, is because when they're looking at houses, they're thinking, "Oh, I don't know whether I want to buy that house." It's the new house that I've been looking at. Is Hattersley rough? Because they've heard myths and it's stuck. I think that's what it is. But that's true, that if you write "is Hattersley" in Google, type it in and you'll see "is Hattersley" and it'll say "is Hattersley rough." I might put it on our social media and see what I get back.
I'm not saying that when we moved up here that, you know, people were rich. Most mothers didn't work. You know, they were stay-at-home mothers and the dads worked. So you didn't see many of the dads because they were always out at work. But the mums all went into each other's houses and became very close. And then there was all the pubs on the estate where people got together and mixed. And now we haven't got that. There's no pubs up here, only the Hare Hill Tavern.
2 clubs.
There was clubs. So people mixed and met up. So people got to know each other socially. Whereas they haven't got that now. And as I said earlier, that most of the mums work now as well as the dads. So they're not at home all the time, and people come home from work, they're tired, they go in the house, shut the doors. So people are not mixing like they used to when we first moved up here.
That's really interesting. We've talked about some really interesting things. Do you think our Lizzie will be ready? Your aunt now? Give her a ring. Shall I ring her up? I've got this new flashy phone that I don't know how to use. Hello?
Hello?
Is that Liz?
Yeah, it is, love, yeah. Hey, man.
Yeah, it's Mark here, and we're on Hats, Chats and Giggles podcast. Shirley's just given me your number. Say hi, Shirley.
Hiya, you all right?
Yeah, I'm fine. Our tongue's gone now.
You're live on radio, Liz.
Can you hear me? 'Cause I can't hear you very well.
You can't hear me very well.
No, you have to shout. You have to shout, I have to shout back.
I'll have to shout at you. Right, well, I'm not used to shouting. Don't swear, because we're on air.
Oh, Christ, when you're talking to Rockman. Got a mouth like a donut, what?
Right.
Hey.
We're talking about, like, the original people who moved into Hattersley back in the day.
Yeah.
And we just want to try and get some of your memories of what it was like to move in. What was your first impressions when you moved into Hattersley in the 60s?
I love the house because I came from my side and that house falling to pieces. I love the house, but I was very homesick and I used to go, 3 years, I used to go back to my side. Every weekend I went back because I never classed as late for 5 years. So when I first came up here, there was no pavements. It was houses plonked in the middle of nowhere. Lovely houses, what we'd been used to. There was no anything at all. They actually had a mobile shop on one of the roads over there. And then bit by bit they started building shops and some of the old pubs. I mean, most of the pubs have gone now. I think I've worked in every one of it overnight. It was like a new world. You went from a very old house falling to pieces to these lovely new houses. Problem was, the way you paid your rent, you know, got what's left for anything else.
Was it a lot more expensive to live here then?
It was only £1.30 in the house on my side. I know it sounds ridiculous, but it was £2.65 when we first moved in here. Well, that £2 when you're only getting about £6 or £7 wages made a lot of difference.
So can you just tell us what it was like when you first moved up here?
Well, there was 2 clubs eventually. It wasn't when we first moved up, but eventually the circles, Janet and Shirley knew about these, and the British Legion. And when you'd worked all week and whatever, everyone went in there. They had Billy Fury, Bernard Manning, all things like that on.
Yeah.
And it was a lovely estate at the beginning, but as I say, it was very desolate, very cold and bleak weather-wise, you know, in the winter. The buses the one bus that we did have, it didn't start at this end of the estate. It was up halfway down the estate. In the winter, it didn't turn up half the time. So we had a lovely man. He had the old-fashioned milk floats. It delivered milk and that because there was no shops. And if we couldn't get to work, there was 5 of us, Jean Taylor, quite a few. He'd give us a lift down on the back of the milk float down to Hyde to go to North Brothers where we were to whatever. But vans used to come with food. It was quite, how can you put it? You felt as though you lived in the middle of nowhere then until they started to, build all that they did. As I say, as you know now, there's lots of shops but I'd rather have it as it was, personally, than it is now.
Oh, that's interesting. What do you think, Janet and Shirley? Would you rather have it as it was, or...?
Back to the good old days.
I like all the shops and different things, and the fact that we have got some of the shops and stuff that we've got, but they took all the pubs away and the clubs away, and not everybody knows each other. And I think all the new houses now.
They took all the neighbourliness and the Janet.
Yeah, yeah.
All the good times. You very rare see neighbours now. A lot were, and even if if they don't, it's very rare. Whereas before, years ago, we'd all get together. I mean, Janet knows this when Mum did the big carnival. We had Rose Queens, we had parties. We did big Christmas parties for all the children. They don't do anything like that now.
Trips away. You went away in coaches.
Yeah, my mum was the one of the carnival organisers.
Yeah.
So every Tuesday we used to meet at the Underwood Social Club and talk about what our float was going to be like and what was the theme, and we'd spend
there was
every Tuesday
going on, wasn't there? Whereas now, I don't know now at the hub, but I don't really know. Shirley always says, there's quite a lot on there. But I don't think there's a friendliness and the atmosphere like it was when we were, when you were all kids.
Right. Are you proud of coming from Hattersley then, Liz? We'll be right back after this short break. Beryl, get the kettle on.
Do you run a local community group, or have you thought about setting one up? Would you be interested in volunteering or helping a local group or charity to run their activities? For more information, contact Dawn by email on info@actiontogether.org.uk.
Are you a Tameside organisation who would like more opportunities to network and influence? Action Together are a not-for-profit organisation who are based in Tameside who can provide support for your group or organisation. Find out more on our website www.actiontogether.org.uk.
I love Hattersley, to be honest. I love it. And it had such a bad name at the beginning. Nobody wanted to come on it and all, and all this, that and the other, because of the Moors murders and whatever. And it was sad, really, because it was a lovely place to what I had been used to in Moss Side. But Moss Side was home to me. And as I say, it took me quite a few years. I don't know about anybody else. But as I say, I wouldn't move. Even if I won the pools now, I wouldn't move.
A lot of people say that
But
as well.
it's a shame some of the good times with progress, it's not the same in that way.
Right. Well, what do you think about all these newcomers now, Liz, when moving into these houses?
To be honest, it makes you annoyed because, as I say, nobody wanted to move onto Hattersley years and years ago.
Right.
Now, every little bit of spare land, they build on it. There's nothing, as I say, for children, very, very little. For teenagers, it's all right, they're moaning about them all. Half the teenagers are not bad kids, and it is a true saying, they've got nothing to do. Whereas years ago, I can't remember teenagers being like they are now.
No.
And I mean, they must be bored. There's nothing to do. How can you build a lovely big estate like this in lovely land with all this lovely countryside? Kids are not interested in the countryside, are they? And the argument on the estate is they keep promising this and promising that. It's been 15 years, well, over 10, where they pulled all them lovely, them houses down over there. They've not done anything with the land.
Right. Yeah.
That is what gets older people annoyed because, there's no... They're spoiling it all by keep building on it all, and it was beautiful, when it was first built. I know it's a sign of the times, but... there must be more to life than going to work and building houses. On this estate, all the friendliness, like I've said, has gone. All the happy memories and whatever.
It's the other thing as well, Liz.
People won't see what we saw.
It's the other thing, Liz, as well. There's not enough doctors and dentists and...
No, there isn't, no.
And everybody, you see it on Facebook all the time, moaning about that they can't get appointments and... They're trying to get through on the phone and they're waiting hours to get through to the doctor, or they can't get a dentist.
Personally,
Yeah.
I've nearly torn my hair out with it.
Yeah.
And I'm just one person. Is there anything now at the Hope for anybody?
It's funny you should say that, Liz, because we've got Demi, Daisy and Leighton who are going to give us a what's on guide to what's going on in Hattersley. Take it away, guys.
The Hattersley Hub is offering a wide range of activities at the moment. On Mondays, there's a baby-friendly fitness class, 10 a.m. till 11:30.
Bowling, 12 till 4 p.m. and ESOL English lessons, 10 a.m. to 11:30 a.m.
Tuesdays, there's a fantastic art club, 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. for people of all skill levels. And the first Tuesday of the month, they have Makers Market, 9:30 to 12 for local crafters in the community.
Wednesday has an Overs 50s IT club, 1 p.m. to 3 p.m. Knit and Natter, 9:30 till 12:30. The Ivy Club, 1 p.m. to 4 p.m. Tai Chi, 2 p.m. to 3 p.m. and curling sessions, 1 p.m. to 2 p.m.
On Thursdays, there's line dancing, 12:30 to 2 p.m. in the afternoon. The last Thursday of the month has a careers respite drop-in session available, 12:30 to 3 p.m.
Friday has citizens advice available on site, 9 to 11:30, And there's a mental health social group 1:30 to 3 p.m. that people can pop along for a brew, as well as more bowls 12 till 3.
They do struggle getting out to people what's available, so where would you go to find out what's going on in the area? Drop us a voice note and give us a call.
Community garden. And the Hattersley project is at the community garden in the centre of the estate. They run all sorts of growing activities throughout the year, and they are always open at the weekend, 12 till 2. Coming up, there will be new forest school sessions available from Easter, and they will reopen the garden centre on the 9th of May for the summer months.
There are also more community activities at the meeting point next to St Barnabas Church. Slimming World on Mondays 6 p.m. to 8:30. Hattersley Health Champions Craft and Music Group on Tuesday 1:30 till 5:30 p.m. Cook and Taste with Tozy Thursdays 11:30 to 1:30. And the third Thursday of the month they also hold Parkinson's and Dementia Cafe 1:30 till 3:30 p.m. Every Friday the Food Bank 9 to 11. Bread and Butter 1 to 2 and Citizens Advice 10 to 2 are present to help the local community. Kitboxing is on Sundays 5 to 6 p.m. Not to mention monthly litter pickers on the last Tuesday of the month, organised by the Hattersley Environment Action Team 10:30 to 12:30 a.m. Parent and Toddlers Group at the Harab Church on Mondays 9 to 11. Football session for the kids on Tuesday at Kenward 5 till 6 p.m. And Mind Have a Community Hive for young people between 8 and 18 on Monday nights at the Old Air Cadet Building 4 till 8 p.m.
Well, thanks for that. There's loads going on, isn't there? How about that? Well, how good was that? Thanks, Demi, Daisy and Leighton for that. If you're a community group, local business, and you want us to publicise what's going on, just send us a voice note to 07365 223 720. Anyway, back to what we were discussing, Lizzie. What was it like moving up to Hattersley? Was it the first time you had a garden and a bath and stuff like that?
It was, yeah. I might as well tell you. I mean, this is just me personally. But I mean, most people, if you came from my side, around. But I came from a house, and don't get me wrong, I loved my side, I always will. But at the end of the day, we had rats, bugs, you name it, we had it. Cockroaches, the bloody lot. So when you came to this brand new house that nobody had lived in, you thought you'd won the lottery. Once the novelty of the house wore off, because there was nothing on the estate, which wasn't a good move when they were building it, they should have at least put something on it. That's when a lot of people were going back to where they'd come from at the weekend after, when you'd finished work for the week, they'd go back because you could go out down there and you had happy memories down there. Then, for quite a few years, this estate was lovely. They built shops and we had communities, like we're just saying. Christmas parties for the kids, the pubs. You weren't just going to pub then days just to drinking and whatever. There was always some sort of outings or parties or something going on. And then it turned tables again. And like we just talked about, started to build property on every bit of land and closing all the pubs, everything. It was like shutting down to it. It was like a ghost town.
But you can see that with young people. They have got nothing to do. And
no, I know a lot of the time, Mark, things are all built for them and youth clubs and all whatever. But like Janet and Shirley and my kids, they're in the 60s, like I say. They went to the youth clubs and all this, that and the other, and the things at school and whatever. That was great. But a lot of teenagers are not like that anymore. If they did something regarding computers or building motorbikes, anything in that way, that's the level of the teenagers now. They won't go to a youth club, and I know in the past they've had ample opportunity to go, but a lot of them won't. Whereas if you see a gang of boys and they did something on this estate to make them interested in it, something that technology like it is in time of life. I think some of them would do it, save us more money. So,
But listen, Lizzie, can I call you Lizzie, or is it Liz?
you can call me what you like. I've been called more than Liz in my life.
Thanks for letting us ring you up, and I'd love it if you could one day come into our podcast studio here. But
I will. Okay. I mean, this is the second time I've let you down, but
listen,
you think I
haven't
live
let me
a
down.
really chaotic life, but I live a funny life.
Right, we all
I
do,
will
don't
come
we?
out, I promise, I will come. You won't be able to get bloody rid of me, you'll be censored, or...
No, I want you down here. We've got lots of things to discuss. I've got a board here with loads of things that we want to talk about. Do you think Hattersley's rough?
No. Wherever you go, there's a rough element. But if you really needed help or anything, people on Hattersley, they're very protective of each other as well.
Yeah.
Because, you know, we weren't wanted in the first place, like I'm telling you at the beginning. Even the shops in Motter and whatever, they didn't want to serve you. You think you'd come from bloody Land's End. But now, people, even though you don't see them very much, we'd all help each other, even now. I don't know whether other estates do, but I know this estate does it. And it annoys me, you know, when they class it as, ooh, you don't live on Hattersley, do you? I've had that for years. You come from my side. What is the difference? Wherever you come from, people, you know, some bad, some good. They will always help you. Never see you, you know, without.
Well, what they say is it's not where you're from, it's where your head's at. Listen, I'm going to let you go. Thanks for contributing to this show. Is there any funny characters or any funny stories before you go that you can remember?
Oh, Jesus. No, you won't be able to broadcast the print what I come out with. Could write a bloody book and it'd be a bestseller. I don't know about Grey's Anatomy being a bestseller, I would be.
Well, listen, I'm going to let you go, Liz. Thanks for contributing. And
okay, no. I only hope it's helped you because, you know, it's many, many years to live, nearly 60 years.
Well, you gave us a great insight into what it was like back in the day. And I think you should come into some more of our podcasts. We've got loads of subjects. We're going to talk about the cost of living crisis. We're going to talk about antisocial behaviour.
Oh.
We're going to talk about the community and technology.
You sound very young, my great-grandsons. Your voice is very young.
Oh, well. Thanks for that, Lizzie. I use Oil of Ulay. I put tea bags on my eyes. But I've got a great voice for radio.
Oh, good.
But listen, I really look forward to meeting you and coming down.
All right. Just put down any questions and I'll answer them. But some of the funny things, it'll all be about me because my language and some of the things I've got up to. That isn't what you want. You want about the community. So.
No. What we'll do, I want to hear some of them.
Publish it, I'll let you record it, but I can't tell you the truth.
But listen, it's been a laugh and a bit of an insight, and I look forward to meeting you in person.
All right, thanks for ringing me, love.
All right, thanks.
I will tell Janet. I'll get in touch with Brenda Ward if I can.
Yeah,
you know,
I've already suggested Brenda.
I'm 80 odd.
Yeah,
you know they're 80 odd, but a lot of them have gone. They've all died.
Mm.
You're lucky I'm still here anyway. You better get what you want out of me before I'm gone.
Right. We'll have you in the podcast studio. Make sure we get our money.
All right, love.
See you later, Liz.
See ya. See ya.
Bye.
Oh, how good was that?
It was really good.
Right, well, we're going to have to wrap it up now because you need to go again. You've got busy lives and things to do, haven't you? Thanks for coming down.
Coming again, Willis.
Shirley, Janet, it's been great. We're just going to put your hands together, folks, for the... And a big shout out to Lizzie. You've been listening to Hats, Chats and Giggles podcast. If you want to contribute to our podcast series, send us a voice note on 07365 223 720. You can also follow us and like us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and Tell us what your thoughts are and what you should have on this show. Thanks for listening, folks. Until next time, don't forget to tell your grandma thanks for the rabbits. Turn on, tune in, and rip the knob off to Hats, Chats and Giggles podcast. Peace. Thank you for listening to Hats, Chats and Giggles podcast. Don't forget to follow us on social media for updates. Just type in Hats, Chats and Giggles and you should be able to find us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter and YouTube. Please follow, comment, subscribe to all our media channels. Do it now, else we're going to rush your doors and we're going to tickle you to death. And don't forget, if you're the local community group or business and like to come on the show and tell us what you've been up to, don't hesitate to get in touch. Or maybe you're a local resident with a story to share, a bee in your bonnet, or beef to get off your chest. Drop us a voice note on 07365 223 720. That's 07365 223 720. Until next time, folks, hate less, love more, make peace, not war, and tell your grandma thanks for the rabbits. Turn on, tune in, and rip the knob off to Hats, Chats and Giggles podcast. Peace.